my name is Maggie and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, today I am going to be sharing my TBR list for the O.W.L's Magical Readathon. Okay, so if you haven't heard of this readathon, it is hosted by G from Book Roast and it is inspired by the Harry Potter series. And in the 5th book, Harry Potter and his friends take the O.W.L's ordinary wizarding level exams. And G from Book Roast has designed a readathon so that readers could also participate in that. I have never participated before because school has just been too busy for me. I am a senior in high school and at spring between extracurriculars and school has been too busy, but since we're all in a period of quarantine and social distancing, I will not have to worry about that, and I have decided to use that time to participate. I was actually inspired to do this video by Abigail's Cup of Tea. She's probably my favorite YouTuber, and she posted her TBR list, so I decided to do one. But you can I'll link everything about it down below, but for the magical readathon, you have to choose what job you will be going for once you leave Hogwarts. And I will be going for the Hogwarts Professor position because I thought this would be the most fitting because when I go to college, I'm going towards being a history professor hopefully someday. So I'm going for the position at Hogwarts for History of Magic. I've got my Ravenclaw scarf and everything. So for this magical job, what I need to do is I must pass 7 O.W.Ls, including one about history of magic because that's a subject I wish to teach, defense against the dark arts, and then 5 additional subjects. So let's get started. Okay, so the first class I'm going to be taking my O.W.L for is Arithmancy, and it says magical qualities of number 2, balance/opposites. Read something outside of your favorite genre. So my favorite genre takes up a large majority of my shelf. Some of it's here and some of it's down, mostly out of shot, and that is historical fiction. I absolutely love historical fiction, especially this is my World War II historical fiction because I'm a huge nerd and that's my favorite stuff, like topic in history. So everything else is fair game, and I'm going to try to choose books I already have because I can't go to the bookstore, and I want to choose ones I haven't read. So for Arithmancy, I have read this book before, so this will not be one of the ones. There will be a couple that I've read before. So this is one that I haven't read in years. My brother and I both would read them together, and we just got the box set, so he has been reading away like crazy, and I have not gotten to start it yet because I still do have online classes I am taking, and that is Percy Jackson, the Olympians. I'm currently reading The Labyrinth, but for the readathon for Arithmancy, a book out of my usual genre is The Last Olympian. So I'm really excited. This is my favorite in the Percy Jackson series. I'm also going to be diving back into the Heroes of Olympus series too, and one of the books from that will be on my magical list. So this is my favorite in the series, and I'm really excited to get back into it. So my next class is Charms, and it says Lumos Maxima, white cover. So this is one I haven't read. It's been on my TBR for a very, very long time, but that is The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. I guess I should probably be reading the inside of these. I will link the Goodreads and Amazon down below, because I've been kind of skipping over reading the insides of the book. So I will link those down below, so if you wanted to check it out, you could, but that's what I will be doing for the next class. Is one of the required courses, and that is Defense Against the Dark Arts, and for Defense Against the Dark Arts, it says Grindylows, a book set at the sea or the coast. And Defense Against the Dark Arts, a book set at sea or coast, I will be reading All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This is one of my absolute favorite books ever. This might be, I don't know how to explain this. It is the best book I've ever read. My favorite book is definitely over here. It's Between Shades of Grey by Rita Sepetys, but this is one of the most complex and the best written book I've ever read. And it is set at the sea and coast. So that is what I will be reading for Defense Against the Dark Arts. My next class is Herbology, and it says Mimbletonia, a title that starts with M. And this one, the book I chose for this technically starts with a T because it's the, but I'm going to exclude the because one, I feel like it's excluded a lot, and two, I don't have any other books that start with M. For Herbology, I will be reading the Mark of Athena from Rick Riordan, and the reason I only have the sleeve for this is because, as I said, my brother and I are both rereading the series, and he's currently on Mark of Athena, so I just snatched this from him so he wouldn't have to stop reading. My next book is for History of Magic, which is a subject I wish to teach, and it is Witch Hunts, a book featuring witches and wizards. So the book I chose for History of Magic is one that does have a wizard in it, and it's one that I wouldn't call it a reread because I did read a large majority of it, but I've never finished it, and that is The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is a beloved classic. I've seen the movies, I've read The Hobbit more times than I can count, but I first started reading them when I was really young, and I had a hard time getting into a book that was so detailed and as in-depth as The Lord of the Rings was. So hopefully once I get into that, I can read the rest of the series as well. Class, I have Muggle Studies, a book from the perspective of a Muggle, aka a contemporary. This one I will be reading, once again, a book I read. I'm not going to count this as a reread because technically I've read it, but I read it so long ago that I don't remember any of it. And that is going to be The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen. This is the only Sarah Dessen book I've ever read, and I didn't dislike it. I just wasn't really into contemporaries at the time I read it, and it's been so long that I don't remember. So maybe by reading this, I will decide to read some more Sarah Dessen. For my last class, it is not technically going to be reading. It is divination, and it says, Third Eye, assign numbers to your TBR and use a random generator to pick your read. So with that, I will be numbering all of the books that I have just named, and I will be using the random number generator to decide what next I will be reading. If you